Welcome gamers, my name is Daz Tactic. We're going to be having a bit of a look at Cantata, which is a game that has just hit early access. So this is very much like the very start of early access for this game. But I think this game is really worth watching. It's a game that seems to sort of like combine a lot of the really cool stuff of games, for example, like Battle Isle or Advance Wars, along with a sort of like almost like a bit of a dumbed down tech tree or tech process like Factorio. So it's a bit of a combination between those sorts of things. I think that this game will just get better and better and better. One thing I might just show you at the moment, just so that you're like, because there, for example, there is no skirmish mode. It's not in here just yet, but it will be coming. And one thing I do really like about this, and I think a lot of games that do hit early access could actually sort of take some pointers from this, is to actually have a roadmap front and center, so you can sort of see exactly what you're dealing with. We can see this is version 1, May 12th, 2022, at time of recording. So if you are watching this after May in 2022, then expect some of these things to maybe sort of have been implemented already. And so at the early access launch, which is where we are right now, we have Campaign Act 1, so chapters 1 to 3, and basic modding can be done. Now, the modding in the game is essentially map building. So I don't know if you can actually build your own characters or units in the actual game. It would be pretty cool if you could. I could see this working quite well in that sense. There's still a lot to be added, and you can see there phase 1 is to have online multiplayer with built-in and generated maps. This, for me, the generated maps over here, the map generator version 1, is extremely exciting. Now, even the fact that they've put in version 1 means that they're expecting to be updating this time after time after time over the course of its development, which I think is really, really cool. So it'll probably be in development for quite some time, but it's a fun game even as is. But I am really looking forward to having skirmish mode. So for me, I probably won't do an actual series as such with this particular video. I think I'll wait until skirmish mode becomes available, and then we'll test the map generator. And again, I don't like to be critical of games when they're sort of this early in their development, but I am excited about where this thing actually will go. But there are, as I say, there's certain things in the game that would be cool if they did other things at this point in time. So it's certainly a fun game to play. I think it's going to get incredible over its course of its early access period. And as I say, I'm really looking forward to this skirmish mode being available. That will be what I'll be playing essentially from this point forward, or once this one does come. But at the moment, we have only got 3 chapters, or like 3 campaigns. And these are sort of like large maps that have been crafted with a story and so on and so forth in them. You've got actually there we go. We've got custom units coming, which is great. Unit passives. Act 2 will then be extra chapters, so chapters 4 to 6. Online multiplayer with custom maps. In-game mod browser, that'll be good. Multi-select and execution. Not sure what that will be. I'm not sure how that would actually then work. Faction tutorials would be good as well. There are a few little things in the game that I don't fully understand, and it's quite hard to get the information. I'll try to explain what some of those are. And I think there's a way around it, but I just haven't been able to figure out what they actually are. UI makeover as well. The game actually, for me, I quite like the look of it. It feels very 1995-ish. With this, it's quite retro, but it sort of embraces that, and I do, as I say, I do like it. Phase 3 will be controller and Steam Deck support, and just final polish back and through there, and then at launch they'll then have the Campaign Act 3, so chapters 9 to 7. Online mod platform, localization and cutscenes, etc. I don't know. Look, to be honest, I think there's already a bit too verbose with the actual stories at this point in time. Just playing the campaigns, I could do with less, to be honest. So cutscenes don't really excite me. I really am excited about the map generator and just interested to see how that one really does perform. By the way, sorry about the noise in the background. You can probably hear the rain. It's very, very heavy rain where I am at the moment at time of recording, but I did want to get this one out because it's just been released, and it's a game that really does look like it's going to have a very, very rich history moving forward. There is a tutorial. Now, there's 2 aspects to this one. I think that the problem I'm having is actually, like I could probably, if I went through this one again, it'd be good. I just wish that there was actually reference in the game for the same sorts of parameters. I wish there was like a written sort of compendium that was actually part of either in game or out of game, like an actual manual. But I haven't seen anything. I haven't had a really close look for anything there. But there are a few little things, a few little gotchas in the actual game itself. But anyway, as I say, the roadmap is quite nice to sort of. Just for me, seeing skirmish mode and the map generator is coming in phase 1 really does make me feel very, very comfortable with where the game actually currently is at this video early access launch. I think it's ready for the launch in terms of you can have fun with the campaigns, but the campaigns don't really have a lot of replay value, so just be aware of that as well. So modding, I won't go into this in any great depth, but this essentially is where you can then create like a new scenario, and I'm guessing that what they're saying is that they're going to allow people to then sort of go and create their own units as well in the future, which will be fantastic. Skirmish mode, as I say, not there just yet. The campaign modes, we've got 3 different campaign modes. Each one is quite interesting, and I might just I'll start with I'll just open up all 3, and then I'll show you a game that I'm currently live streaming on Twitch, and just so you can sort of see where I'm up to with the current game, so you can just get a bit of a feel for the development, I guess, of sort of running a game. So if we go into this one here, there's a whole lot of different sort of backstories, but essentially we start off as a human faction on a world called Shoal, and the world has got ourselves in through this side. Actually, I'll just go and zip past all of this stuff. So blah, blah, blah. I find it just a little bit verbose, to be honest. This is like the tutorial mission, to be honest, just to sort of ease you into the... it's not a tutorial, but it's the easiest way to sort of start the game. Come on. Way too much talk. Way too much talking. There we go. We're finally into it. So you can see that we're up through here. Player 1. We are the faction is the 111th reign of harmony and prosper. So we're essentially humans. The enemy is actually the unified spirit, which is a group of robots. And we also then have like an AI environmental faction, the planet Shoal. So this is the forces on the planet itself, like different sorts of forces on the planet. And so I'll just zoom in. There's only 2 levels of zoom. I think this is a bit of a problem as well, to be honest. I would like to see much more levels of zoom, as in, like going back to a more grand overview, like where you've sort of got like almost sort of like a much smaller view. And I almost wish that there was something in between these two views as well. I know they've just sort of doubled it up for the pixel art, but it's an aspect of the game that I think that could actually help it just a little bit, just to make it feel a little bit more user friendly in the sense of the visuals. I tend to be playing in this one all the time, and then every so often, whenever anything happens, it'll then sort of take me back out to this mode here. But I'm finding that I much prefer to be in closer, but it's probably a shade too close. And I don't know, I haven't tested it on. I've got I've set my monitor to just 1080p for playing these sorts of games, but I really should have tested this one on the larger version of my monitor to see what happens with the scale on that one. It may even be that everything is too small on a larger monitor, but I haven't tested that, so I'm just sort of speculating with what that might be. Back in through here, what we'll sort of see, I'll just quickly go through the tech tree. The tech tree is useful, but you can sort of follow things through, and I'll explain this in a bit more detail when I do open up the save game that I've actually currently got. So you've got like a headquarters unit. Like if I just go and click that one there, this is the headquarters unit in through this side, and you can see there it's got like ready builds. It's got like 4 different areas of alloys, which is what we're sort of seeing through there. Plus, we can also then go and get ourselves a conscript for like one of these soldiers back in through this area as well. And so there's the 4 that can go off. These are then used a bit like Factorio, where you sort of then send them off to other buildings to then do other things. And so you end up with these chains of tech. Like, so the alloys from the headquarters then can go off to the arms factory. And if you combine that with fuel from the refinery, which also then takes alloys, and bring that in as well, you can then either have heavy arms or small arms, which then go off into other different sorts of factories as well. So you can get like cannons, or you can sort of bring it down through here to get grand bombards as different sorts of units. This is where it certainly has that same sort of feel from games like what was I calling it before? I forgot the name of the game. Advanced Wars sort of springs to mind, but it's not. The combat isn't really like Advanced Wars. Battle Isle, that's what I'm thinking of. I think it's much more like Battle Isle, And I can see the game working very, very well. Like if you got the random maps and you also had a faction that actually built its own units and came attacking you. At the moment with these campaigns, from what I've seen so far, there's no offensive action really until you trigger units. So they just stay where they are waiting for you to actually arrive, and then they get triggered. It would be cool if they could build and expand the same way that the player does. I don't know if that's a vision for the game. I certainly hope it will be, and I hope that the AI can then sort of play that way as well when the random maps do come. But I would be thinking that would be there's a fair bit of work to be done to get that to actually to get an AI to sort of think along those sorts of lines, where it's actually building these chains itself to then come and attack you. So this is the 111th reign of Harmony and Prosper, which is their particular tech tree. I've got something clicked underneath there. I'll just unclick that one. And so I'll show you this in action. Like I've got a fairly advanced game with a lot of these things in the game. The infrastructure, so if we click in through this side, we can then sort of see the different buildings. Now, the humans are certainly the most fleshed out faction, where we've got, for example, like we do actually have the headquarters, which we've already got one of the headquarters in through there. At level 3, I'm at level 1 at the moment. Back up this way, player level is level 1. At level 3, I can build another headquarters unit if I wanted to. And everything costs, just to explain how the game does work, everything costs you supply. And so to get supply, you need to find supply sources. And I know that there's, for example, in this map, this is why I don't like playing these sort of scripted maps, is that I know that there's supply over here, which is where I sort of have to go to first. And so to go there in this particular starting area, I'm just going to pick this Recon Rickshaw, which you see has got like a lot of movement. If I just right click, I can deselect. The conscripts themselves don't actually move very far. And so I'm just going to go and grab this one, and we're going to load in. We've got 2 loading slots back in through there. Again, from the user interface perspective, I don't know why. We can change the name of that, but I don't know why it's showing all these others as well. Like I don't see the value of that. These are the hit points down through this side. That's the movement range is 8, which is a lot. You can see there it's got like a surge move, and a surge move means to move a second time, and that's going to cost me what's called 2 action points. These are the action points through here, and this is like a global resource that I can use throughout my turn. Like for example, if I grab one of these and then just hover over this one, we can see that these also then have an action point cost of 3 for their surge move. So they've actually got it's a little bit higher than the Recon Rickshaw. One other thing you'll notice with the conscripts is that they can actually go up in levels as well. And so at level 1, and this one is level 1, we have a vision range of 2. This perk adds 2 to the vision range. At level 2, we get another +1 vision range in through there. At level 3, we get an extra attack strength, and at level 4, we get maximum health goes up by 2 as well. So there's certain, and these have only got 2 hit points, so these are very, very weak. All right, let's just go and grab this thing. We just grab this one and just load both of those on board. So we've now got the rickshaw. Let's move across to here. It's just a left click. And over she goes, and so we're sort of seeing more things. And here we have now the various areas on the map. I'll just sort of go in and just show you how this actually does work. So we'll just move this one in. And as we come across things, because this is a scripted map, it's then giving me information and saying, hey, you've got to go and look at this special shrine for whatever reason. So I've now got to try to scout the machine base, but now inspect the strange shrine. So when that becomes available, now we've done the surge move. We've still got 3 more turns in through here. I can now just go back out to this one. I'm going to now offload that unit and then just go and get it to move in next to the next to that particular shrine, which then gives us there's nothing much we have to do with that one. For whatever reason, we've now done that. So perhaps this warrants a closer inspection. I'm not sure what we have to do with that one, but anyway, that is the shrine itself. And one thing we can do, that we don't control this sector here. Another thing, I don't know why the borders overlap. It makes no sense to me, because it actually, when you have a look at it, if you were looking at this one here, you'd almost sort of think, okay, well, this one's neutral and these are owned by the player, but it's actually the opposite. So I don't get that. That's another sort of little weirdness that I don't think it really helps much. One thing I can do, and I can only place these on the cardinal points, and I don't want to do that. So to claim this one here, I'll just sort of show you. You see that I can't actually go over it. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, here we go. So the forest, this is called the Northern Forest, this particular region that's sort of highlighted sort of under through here. So let's just go across, and with that one there, at the moment, there's no infrastructure that we can build. If we do take this one over, we get another 5 population bonus. At the moment, we've got a maximum population of 10 that we can use. Now, the 4 that we've used up, 1 for each of the conscripts and 2 for the recon rickshaw. You can see their pop cost is showing 2 there. So some units contribute to a player's population. This is their population cost, blah, blah, blah. So it's pretty cool with the tooltips, the way that they actually do work. In this case, though, I'm going to be needing to mine this. So what I might do is I might just set up one of those immediately. So we've got like a mining facility back in through here. As I say, as we go up to different levels, we get different sorts of buildings. So I can just sort of go and grab a mine. Actually, we can't do that until we actually do take control. So let's go and send this one out. I'll just grab control of this unit. And sorry if I was just showing this before. When we come across, you can see down through here, this is controlled this isn't controlled by anybody, like this is just neutral, and it's got 5 capture requirement points. So how much more pressure you need to exert control over this region. So we need to give it 5 capture requirements, and we do the capturing with the conscripts, and so that's their role, and we do that with the royal banner. So an imposing royal banner that declares the reign's increasing dominance over the land. And so this one's going to cost me 15 of my supply. So I will actually go and do that one. Actually, can I do it? No, I don't have the action points. I'll just end the turn. All right, and we now do it. Royal banner. Add that into here somewhere, and so that's then going to then take over this particular region. And so now when we hover over this particular region, you'll see now it has gone. Oh, hang on, it didn't quite take. We now control it. We've got 2 building slots, 2 infrastructure slots we can use. Our population limit has gone up by 5, and we now have the victory points has gone up by 1 as well. And so in this case, we had to take this particular region essentially to do different things, but we've got now more population that we can actually go and build. So I could go back to my territory over here and build another conscript if I wanted to. Like I could actually do that one and sort of select that one into one of those cardinal points. But the thing we want to do is we need to get on top of our supply. Now we'll just quickly do this with a mining facility. And 4 more turns before I can build another one. That then is going to start mining, and we're going to have a +4 supply coming through. Now, the chain of what we need to then build with this is we do have to go and build different sorts of units. Now, the first unit we want to get is more of these recon rickshaws, and so we can do that with a garage. And so that requires engines and fuel. And so we get the engines through the engine factory, and we get the fuel through the refinery. And so this cost me 5 supply. This one will cost me 5 supply to build. That's another 10 supply. So if I wanted to just quickly set up like a chain, I'll just do it in here because I've still got 1 more building slot available in through there, and I've got 2 more available in through this one. So to set one of these up, what I would then do is just go to the refinery, and I just need to build it sort of somewhere. I can build it anywhere inside that pink area that's connected. As long as I control the region, I can build it anywhere. So I'll just build one over this way a little bit. I'll build it more out this way, I think. Yeah, let's build one over here. I can't build it in the area that I don't have a vision on. So sometimes you'd be wanting to keep like a conscript or something just so you can sort of see what's where. So let's go and build one of those there. It's the refinery, and you'll notice that it's now trying to push alloy out. So I'll just explain about how this one works as well. In the engine factory, I'm going to need more engines later on as well, so I'll just build that one in there. Just so I can't go over the top of where this other one is, so it's not like Factorio where you can actually sort of go and put things really on top of each other. So we'll just go and select this one over this way. So I've now got like potentially 2 supply coming across for the next turn. And then to build the next one, to get the actual garage, I need to then build that somewhere else. Now I can't build it in there, but I can, as long as I can sort of get it so we're using the both of these. So let's just move this one down into this corner over here, for example. So we'll throw that into that corner in that region that we just took over. And so you can see that these aren't working. There's no supply coming out from these. So let's have a quick look at the supply and just see how that actually does work. And so when I click over this one here, you'll notice that we've got a supply is now being sent from here out to the refinery, and one supply has also been designated to go out to the alloys. The problem we have is if we've got two supply waiting in here, because we've been building one supply. Now if I go and push down, I then stop any drain on supply because I'm no longer using supply to build alloys, but I actually need two of these. So to meet the requirement of this, I need to have two alloys being built all the time to then go off to these two different slots. And so this is the way that it works with the like Factorio. When that alloy meets the engine factory, it will then come in and build engines, and so the alloy will then build an engine. And so if we go across consumption, you can see there consumption amount is one alloy and the outgoing amount is one engine, essentially with what's being built there. To see more about what this one actually does, we can go across again into here and just sort of see like the engines, one alloy in, engines out into different areas depending on what's required. So that's sort of where we are with that one there. To build it doesn't tell you actually how many to build the rickshaws, but essentially eventually we're going to need more over this way. So let's just go and grab our forces. So I can actually now just go and pick up this one here. I'll move this one back across as well. And get it on board. So different things that we do require action points. Now I'm not going to be able to do a surge move with this one, so I'll just move this one down this way. Again, just be careful, like like in this case, I can't build a second area back over here, and when this one runs out of supply, that's going to become a problem. This is not the best way to do it. I just wanted to illustrate how things are sort of working. Like this region, you can see there that landing zone is 3 out of 3 infrastructure, and we now actually have in this zone 2 out of 2 infrastructure. Hang on, I'll just let it stick. 2 out of 2 in through there with the infrastructure limit. So again, not ideal. Now what I can do is I can actually, if I'm wanting to, I can if I build something in the wrong spot, I can actually get a little bit back. So it's going to cost me action points, so I can't actually do it this turn. But I do get a little bit of supply back when I do destroy buildings, and that's useful to know. All right, so the first thing is these are going back into here, and then they're sort of moving across into this garage. So we'll now just end our turn again. Nothing else really for us to do. Oh, one other thing we can actually do at any point, I can bring in like a different sort of force. Now there's no supply issues. Once you've got a unit built, it's actually in the game. So you've got to be very careful of your units. Let's just move that one through, and you'll also notice that this one now is starting to produce. So if we have a look at the actual engine factory, we've got one alloy that's come in, and then we've got one of the engines is now going to be sent out. At the moment, it's not there ready to go. There's nothing coming in just yet. So and then what this one will do is either build these recon rickshaws or build this plating, so we can actually get like steel plating. So let's leave that one there. I'll just move. Actually, I'll leave that one there. The other thing we can do is we can actually build these tower transports, and what these do is these actually bring four conscripts down in like a bit of a drop ship. And again, if I can see the area, I can then just sort of bring it down. So I can bring that one in. It's got 4 different conscripts in through here, and so I can make use of them in different areas as well, just to sort of, whether it be for scouting or whatever else it might actually be. And we can then sort of move across into areas of the actual map itself. There we go, we found ourselves another conscript. So we just get a bit of a backstory in through these areas. Again, there's not too much talking, but the game doesn't really need it, to be honest. I mean, I guess things like Advanced Wars do have very, very corny storylines. This one's no exception, I guess. This one here is already actually moved, technically, because we can't actually move it a second time. So we start to sort of see that there's no real threats, but there's also nothing really to gain. If I did grab this one, I would get another 5 population limits. It's only going to require one more guy with this. This is 2 action points. I've only got 1 left. I'll just end the turn here. So the various AIs and things are sort of having their turn. Actually, this one's come over the border. It's attacking us and killing us. Actually, no, we didn't. It didn't die. Oh, okay. We had three health. They normally have only got 2. I don't know how this one got 3. Well, he was lucky because it saved his bacon. Now, they've come in and attacked me. The first one took some damage because there is actually like a bit of a zone of control, and the second one did as well. So this one has fired back each time. So to destroy these sorts of things, I would then just sort of move in, as long as I can sort of hit it. So I'll just move this one across. Now, machine sighted, yep, that's okay. Yep, blah, 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 blah. And so with that one selected, I'm just going to go and hit this one. And I'm right next to these, and these will get like a reaction fire if they survive. So let's just go and do this. And we got another couple of experience points, so I don't think that one's leveled up at all. No, it's still level 1, but it is getting experience with each of these sort of kills. We've still got 2 more kills that we need on that one there. We can bring the recon rickshaw in. I don't think it's going to quite be able to reach it. So it certainly does have that that battle isle feel about it, and I can either bring, whichever one I want to bring out. I can just bring these out. That one will do 1 shot, and we've got 1 more as well. Move that one across, and that one's going to kill that one off. This one's injured. I can then start to move that one back. This one has got like a healing ability for anything that's in the cardinal points. So if you have multiple units that have been hit, then you'll sort of be wanting to try to save them a little bit. The conscripts are very squishy. They tend not to last unless you're really looking after them. So we're now starting to see we're getting fuel and engines being built up and through this side, and so this is sort of like the start of the game essentially. And so these diminish over time, the supplies. So you have to be fairly careful with how you spend your supplies. Now, we're going to be wanting to have at least 1 more of these, probably at least 1 more of these tower transports as well. We've still got 64. We're going up at +3 at the moment. Still can't build. We've still got a cooldown on the mining facilities, and another 4 cooldown on getting another tower transport. We'll just end our turn there. Just remember, you do have these extra action points that you can do things with. Get 1 more turn there. This one here, we still can't build 1 of these. It requires 3 fuel and 2. We've got the 2 engine blocks, but we need 1 more fuel. So I'll just leave it 1 more turn. I'll leave these with that. Actually, I'll move this one in so you can sort of see the damage. See the healing. So if I click on that one there, it'll then show you one of the conscripts is going to heal by 1, and one of them is going to heal by 0 because this one's not actually injured. So there we go. We've got a +1 in through there. That one's now got 2. Move that one up, and these are just stuff on the ground. I mean, we don't have to get rid of them, but we might as well, I guess. All right, so we now actually have. I'll just go in the turn. Then we can go and grab one of the rickshaws, and we can then have a look and sort of see. Okay, well, the mining facility, I can't actually build one. So that one there, I can only have like 2 infrastructures. So to get anything working properly in there, what I'd need to do, I'll just get a recon rickshaw so you can sort of see the build process. So we've now got another recon rickshaw in through this side. Let's go and destroy this building now. So that one's been destroyed. That gives me 1 extra slot through there. So if I did have... Oh, I don't have the action points. Let's just end the turn again. I'm really not... This is not the way to play it. I'm just sort of illustrating the functionality of the game and sort of what it does do. So I can then sort of go back and get another mining facility, throw that one down there, and we're now going to be getting a lot more supply. Again, it doesn't really matter. I just want to sort of get it as much as possible, and then once this one runs out, we need to be finding other sources. So that's sort of essentially how it does play, with a fair few different sorts of buildings that give you all sorts of different units. So we've got the rickshaws that we've seen the conscripts. You've got flying gunships, Griffin cannons, which are sort of like they do splash damage. You've got like special sort of rocket infantry, which is sort of like very high level. You've got very high level melee fighters as well, and you've got these grand bombards, which sort of can bombard things from a great distance. And so you're in control of what you build over time. It is really, really quite cool. Let's go and have a look at something else. So I will. This is going to go over the half hour. I just wanted to sort of show how the game is sort of structured. So I'll show you actually where I am with this game in when I'm playing on Twitch. But as I say, there's no real replay value after you play it. So just be aware of that. If you are getting the game this early in its early access, you're going to get some play through it, but you're not going to get a lot of replay value until the next update comes. And then, as I say, I'm really looking forward to that one there. I'll just load a game in. So I have a couple in here. Actually, let's go with this one here. I think this one will be fairly interesting. Yeah, so this is one where I've got like a fair few different sorts of forces back over this side. I've got those special high level units are back over here as well. I've got another one back over here who's been destroying different units, and so I can sort of move this one in. This one's got like a long range. I've got a couple of the tanks as well. I have to be careful. Like these are actually all okay. There's going to be more units over here, and they'll come swarming when they become attacked. This one here is in a cooldown. It must have just had an attack, so I don't really want to be triggering these units until I'm ready for them. So we're just going to start to move up with the forces that we actually have. So this is sort of like mid stream essentially, or mid areas. Let's see if anything's actually injured. I can't remember. No, nothing's injured at this stage. So I'm keeping two of these around, really just to sort of keep the healing coming up with everything. So this is sort of like more of an advanced army that we actually have. You can see there, I've turned off all my supply. So I've still got some supply going around the place. What I've done is I've switched off the supply from the headquarters across to, again, the engine factory and the refinery. I've then turned them off. This is like a supply hub where different things can come through. And so while it's still got some things, this no longer has anything that it can actually send off. So in essence, having these different supplies is now pointless. You can see all the exclamation marks. I can actually switch all of them off because there's nothing to ship out. And so I can turn these back on again very, very easily. And again, this one here, we've got like a hangar coming in, but I don't have all the other componentry. So I won't have enough. So what I'm just going to do, this one's still got a little bit that can build to go and get more of the small arms coming through. I'll let that one happen until it runs out. And this one here, we've got like a fair few engines as well from the garage, which is then sort of supplying the hangar. The hangar requires a few different things. It can either build these advanced engines, or it can actually go and build the gunships. But the gunships require 8 action points back and through here, so nearly everything that we actually have. 3 of the small arms, 3 engines, and 3 of the plates as well. So the plates that would be coming from here, I'm just going to go and I'll turn that one off as well. We've got nothing there to really ship out. We do have engines that I could be shipping out as well. Actually, no, the engines have come in. They can't be shipped out. This is one of the things I'm not exactly sure. I know that there is a way in the game to ship stuff when you've got too much of something. You can actually then turn that over and do other things with it. But anyway, that's sort of then working through. We've taken over different areas and through here. This one I think has still got a fair bit of supply that it's building up. So it's got like this the small areas coming back in through this side, and is then shipping them out down to this location way down over here, where I can then go and build more of these Elysian ranged units. So if I wanted to build one of these are the high level units. In fact, I can't do it just yet because it's going to cost me 5 action points, and I don't actually have any of those. So that just gives a bit of an indication of sort of like a more of an extended supply line, and I'm using these supply hubs to then control what gets sort of shuffled around the empire. Don't worry too much about what I'm showing. I just want to give you a bit of an impression as to how the game does play. And in terms of where we are in the game, I'm about a bit over halfway, I think. So, as I say, I'm live streaming this one at the moment, and so I'll have this one finished tomorrow, basically. We've like at the time of recording, I've cleared out this level, and we're just now trying to find more stuff actually in the game itself. But it's like the concept of the game is very, very nice. It looks good. Everything sort of looks fairly cool with everything going on. these are all the different missions that we've done so far. We need to find the second machine base, which we've sort of essentially done here. We just have to destroy this now. So yeah, there's a lot to like about what what the game actually does bring. So I thought I'd just sort of show it. Now what I might do is I might start up a couple of the other campaigns just so that you can sort of see what the build queues are for different other sorts of factions. So if we go across and go back into the main menu, and we'll then just go back into campaign mode. So the second campaign, you essentially play as the planet Shoal in this one here. So it sort of comes in, and again, there's just a whole lot of dialogue. I'll just flip through all this. Again, it's all scripted, so it's fun to play, but just be aware there's a lot more content coming. So it's early access, so just be aware that you are getting involved in an early access game. And I know that a lot of you don't like having early access games, like you prefer to wait until they're launched. You're a bit suspicious of them. Look, I think this is going to be a great game when it does get launched. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be one of those sort of games that people will enjoy. As I say, like it hasn't really been a good game, like a good Battle Isle type game in reality since Battle Isle. And Battle Isle did have a lot of problems, and this is why I do have fairly high hopes for this game if the random map generator is done well, I think, and if the actual AI is done fairly cleverly, so that it can build an actual attack against you. Because quite often AIs in these sorts of games are fairly weak. So fingers crossed, it does end up being quite strong. You can see through here we've got different sorts of factions. So we are this particular faction, which is like I think it's almost like a personalised type faction that we actually have through here. We're going up against the humans as the enemy in this one, and we actually still have the local environment as well. And so these guys here have got like very, very strong units. So these are hunter units with a heap of hit points. They do 3 damage. This guy here, they wait in the fens unit does 8 damage. It's pretty cool the way it sort of does work. And we're up against the edge there, so there would be nothing to go there. There's a couple of resources there that we could sort of get. So if we have a look at what we can build through this side, we can't build anything until we get to level 2. So we have to go on the attack until we actually get to level 2. We're level 1 at the moment. Once we get to level 2, we can then start to build different sorts of other abilities inside these different areas as well. And there's a tech tree for this particular one. This is the people of the Sun and Shadow. Living Shrine gives them ghosts. And from there you end up with whispers. Whispers then go off and you can get different sorts of other units like healers, trappers, summoners, hunters, which we've seen, and berserkers as well. So again, this a very different way of playing that would sort of be available through that one there. And then finally the other one that we actually can look at is the third of the campaigns. So and as I say, I won't be doing I won't be doing a series until Skirmish is here, I don't think. And then I'll do an evaluation, see if the random map generator and the AI is strong enough. And if it is, then we'll definitely do a series at that point, but that could be months away. So this one here, this is just going to, once again, just go through the story. It's just going to be blocking this tree in, the Hand of God. It's been now secured inside this region. So we're now playing as the robots. I'll just flick through all this stuff. So we can sort of look at what they actually have. So we've got 2 regions in through here. All right, so these guys have got like a different sort of tech tree. You can see there the heart is sort of like our base building blocks. So the heart is the base building block. Sorry, I just need to get rid of that thing there. I'll just leave that. I'm not going to be able to get rid of it. And this one then gives us motherboards. The motherboards, and we can get like these little robots called cherubim. And so from there we can then go and get other aspects as well. Like we've got the animator, the alchemist, and I forget what that one is underneath there. But it just leads on to different sorts of robots, like the Samson, Judgment, the Wall, etc., etc. And so we end up with a different way of playing as these guys. If we just go and look at the actual infrastructure queue, you can see that we can ultimately build everything right from the start. We don't have to worry about level ups in through here as far as building. So the robots do play quite differently. So we're the unified spirit, and in this case we're actually going up against the 111th Reign of Harmony and Prosper, which is the humans. We then also have this enemy faction, which I think is the same one that we were looking at before, that we were playing in episode 2. And we still have the local environment as well, Shoal. So I think there's a lot of promise with this game. It's, as I say, it is available right now in early access, but it is early access. So if you don't like early access, you may not want to sort of partake. But I do like what I see so far. I just, I guess in one sense the jury's out until we sort of see what happens with the random map generators and the AI that can then play in those maps. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.